Hello everyone, welcome to the part 4 of Payment Gateway for Noobs. And in this session, we'll touch a bit about the ISO fields and we'll talk about MTI in detail. So let's understand what ISO is. So ISO stands for International Organization for Standardization. So before I go to this diagram that I've been using since first session, let's try to understand what we are trying to achieve here. So when two people talk to each other, they have some language by which they can communicate. So if you talk about telecommunication layers as well, you have certain protocols where different entities can communicate to each other using certain protocols like BGP, RIP, ISIS, or static routes and all. So in the similar way, here also you see that there is a separate network for access, then there is a separate network for Visa, and then there is a separate network for HDFC. Now, when they're communicating with each other, they need to transfer the information. If you remember in the previous sessions, we were discussing about the PIN block and all, where the information is being transferred from Axis Bank to Visa to HDFC. So that uh, that process of sending the information that has to happen in certain format. Otherwise, if Axis Bank sends details in some particular field, how will Visa understand as to what value to read from where? And Visa will not only have Axis Bank to cater to, right? It will have hundreds of different banks which it is catering all across the world. And if everyone starts sending information in their own format, then how many different formats will Visa understand or incorporate in their system? So that is why this international standardization comes into picture, where two parties, when they are in the payment gateway network, they come to a conclusion that I will be sending the information in this particular format, and the receiver also says that okay, fine, I understand this format and I accept this format, and then I'll do the processing as per that format, and I'll extract the information from there. So that is where this different type of ISO uh, formats are there, and the most common one that we use is 8583, and this is the one that we'll be discussing in this entire session. So in the ISO format, the first field or the zeroth field, which is denoted by 000, that is that field holds the value for MTI. What is MTI? MTI is the message type indicator. So that tells what this entire message consists of, or it gives, a brief description of this entire bunch of values that is being sent between, let's say, between Axis Bank to scheme. This message type indicator actually tells the scheme that what this message is all about. So it consists of 2 bytes basically. So 2 byte means that there are 16 bits of information, and that's why we can send 4 different digits. So the first digit holds the information about the version. So there are different 8583 versions that we can use. So this first one tells that this entire message is written in which particular version, which version is being used for this. The second tells the message class. So the message class tells what is the purpose of this message. I'll cover all these things in detail, so don't worry. So the third one is the message function, so which tells how a message should flow into us in a system. And the fourth one tells the origin, so whether the message has originated from the acquirer or from the issuer or from some other places. So in this example, if say the MTI is 0200, that gets broken down into 0000, 0010, 0000. That is how this information is sent in, uh, in MTI. So now let's get into detail of each of these digits. So the first digit, as I mentioned, that this tells what version of ISO 8583 is being used. This is pretty simple. If it is 0, it means the 1987. If it is 1, it means 1993. And if it is 2, it means 2003. And the rest of the digits are not in use, so they're like reserved for the ISO 853. So let's forget about the other digits. Talk about the second digit here, which tells the message class. So the message class tells what is the purpose of this particular message. So again, 0 and 9 are missing here, so it means that they're not in use, and we'll talk about the rest of the digits here. So if here we say that the code is 1, it means that it is an authorization message, and it's used in the dual messaging system. And this will be the first message that comes for a transaction, and it is just to do the authorization, basically to see whether the funds are available or not, do some validations, but do not do any sort of reconciliations. So this is what the code 1 means. When the code sent here is 2, it means that it is a financial message. So probably something like you're trying to withdraw money from ATM or from a POS machine. So it's a single message system where you check that if the funds are available, get approval, post it to the account, and the transaction gets completed. So if it is 3, then it's file action messages, like if there are any transfer of files happening. So that is where this 3 is used, and 4 is primarily for reversals or like rollback. So if there is any charges which has happened, and if you want to do a chargeback or reversals, so for that 4 is used. 5 is for reconciliation messages, so probably used primarily during the settlement. So once the day is over and there's a device cutover which happens, and if you want to settle all the transactions, so the message that is sent is the code that we use is 5 here. The 6th one is for administrative messages. So if there are any sort of failures in the system, then those are notified via code 6. 7 is for fee collection, and the last one, 8, is for the network management messages. So when I say network management messages, it's like say for key exchange, for login, or for echo test and all. So such messages have the code 8. So this is the second digit. Let's go to the third digit, which says the message function. So here again, we have from numbers 0 to 9. And as I explained earlier, this tells how a message should flow in the system. So what it means is that it actually tells like what this message is, like whether it is a request, whether it is a response, advice, and stuff like that. So as the code number 0, it means that it is a request. And requests are usually end-to-end messages, that is from the acquirer to the issuer, and then the response goes back from the issuer. So 0 is for the request and 1 is for the response. The second one is advices, usually used to communicate between point to point. And 3 is the response to that advice. So usually, like, when you're trying to communicate between, let's say, from Axis Bank just to you're trying to talk to Visa, if you want to send some advice, like say some network problem has happened, and for that you have approved a transaction, and then you want to notify that to the issuer when the network is back. So you send an advice. Maybe we can talk about those things later, but right now just understand that 0 is request and 2 is advice. 4 is for notification, 5 response to a notification, 6 is if you're sending any sort of instructions, 7 for response for that instruction, and 8 and 9 is for positive acknowledgement and a negative acknowledgement. And this is like very rarely used, not commonly used. I think it's being used in MasterCard, probably, and maybe I need to check. And the fourth digit is the origin of message. So as I mentioned multiple times, that there are different entities involved in the entire flow. So where this message has originated from, 0 means acquirer, 2 means issuer, and 4 means from somewhere else, so it's others. And 1, 3, and 5 is for repeat message. So if a message has been sent and then you do not receive a acknowledgement, and if you're sending them message again, so then it goes as a message repeat. So now that we have talked about this MTI, let's get into some exercise here. So let's say if this is the MTI 0110, do you recall what this message would mean? I'm giving a few seconds here. Okay, so if it is 0, that means that it is 1987 format, and 1 means that it's an authorization message, and then again the second one means that it is a response and not a request, and 0 means that it is originated from the acquirer. That's the information that you will get. So when you see an MTI of 0110, it means that there is an authorization response message that has come for a purchase transaction. Take another example, 0200. Again, giving few seconds here. Okay, so the first and fourth digit are same. So the only thing changes here is the second digit, which is 2. And this becomes like it's a financial message. And the third one being 0 means that it is a request and not a response. So let's say if you are trying to if you are making a request to withdraw money from an ATM or some post machine, then at that point of time the 0200 message is going to go. So taking this exercise into consideration, I'll not go into details of each of these MTIs, otherwise this video is going to become very lengthy. So rather, while going through this video, probably you can pause the video here, check out all the MTI fields, which are the most commonly used, what is its meaning, and where exactly do we use it. So it's mentioned here. And this is a continuation for the table. So probably once you're done with the previous one, you can pause here, go through these details here again, try to understand all the MTI messages. So now after this session, I'm sure that you would be knowing what MTI means, what each of those digits mean, and how are those constructed. So from now on, I hope that you won't need to by heart these MTI numbers. Rather, if any number is given to you, you can always refer to those tables, the first, second, third, and fourth digit tables, and then get an understanding on your own as to what this MTI is trying to tell, or what that message is trying to do, like what the message is all about. So that's all in this session. We'll see you guys again in the next one. Until then, thank you and bye bye.